Hello and welcome back to Defiant Video, back on Kerbal Space Program, and today we are doing post-commentary on this because it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. But either way, it's a pretty simple thing that we're doing today. We are doing a rescue mission. Now I'm only going to show you the first of the 3 rescue missions because it was the fastest and it was the easiest to put into a video, but the other 3 were quite successful. They did have a little bit of bad luck along the way, but the other 2 Kerbals got home perfectly fine and safe. Now you're watching something that is at 2 times speed, I believe, so it might seem a bit quick, but we are just currently going into orbit, a nice stable orbit we should be getting into. And now I should probably tell you that when I first put into orbit, I did something completely wrong, as you'll find out in a minute, as I, for some reason, had the thing I was aiming towards set as my target for some unknown reason. Now I'm getting it as close as possible to the orbit of Horizon 2, I believe it's called, and I'm just going to quickly zoom into the maneuver node. Yeah, I'm trying to get it as close to it as possible so I can hopefully do it on the first orbit. Now, it doesn't go exactly to plan, I'm not going to lie, but, you know, I do eventually work out where I've gone wrong and I do fix it, but not before some crazy thing happens. I decided to look into the cockpit there at my pilot Valentina, because she's having a whale of a time. Now I did bring Bob Kerbal, I believe his name is, as a scientist, because I thought the science data that I bring back might be affected by him, because if you have a scientist you get 100% off some types of science data, whereas if you only have like a pilot you only get like 80%, so I thought he might give us more science. Now here I am checking the closest encounter, and it is quite far away, so I've decided to somehow botch this up and get to as close as possible. There you go, you can see that's like 30,000, and that's, I believe, like 8 now, I think. I can't exactly read it from now, it's a bit small on my screen while I'm watching it and while I'm doing post commentary, so all the like numbers might be a bit different, but actually I can... Okay, now I can see it properly. I've just changed, like I said, it's all fine. This is my first ever post commentary I'm doing, so expect a bit of rustiness, but it should be fine. It should be all well and good. Now I'm warping to the maneuver node so I can get it as close to as possible, and I need to be the most accurate I can be with this maneuver node, because if I'm not, then the closest approach is going to be a bit off. Now I don't know why I paused then, it might be because I was checking something, I don't know. There we go. So it's 2.5 meters per second off, but the closest approach is pretty much similar to what I was expecting it. Now I've warped to here, and I don't realise that this closest approach that I'm on, for some reason, changes without me knowing. But I'm just testing here if I can like fly out and then come back up to the vehicle and attach myself and board back in. Now I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to get Bob back into this place here, but it's just not giving me the button to attach him, so I've decided let's attempt to do it a different way. I mean, I need to switch to the vehicle, but I can't exactly do that right now. But I'm going to transfer Valentina to the hitchhiker's cabin, and then I'm going to attempt to do it on this one to see if it's just the hitchhiker's thing that doesn't allow you to get into it. And I grab it then, and I get shot straight off, and my RCS gets turned off. And yeah, so I was thinking maybe that's just a little bug, maybe I did something wrong, so I try again. And lo and behold, as you were about to see, F again, oh, and I fly straight off, so that's not happening. So I have to switch to another vessel, switch back, and rotate the thing so I can actually get it in. So I'm just lining up there so he doesn't fly off into space, I switch to Horizon 2, which is pretty close right now. And I'm trying to not select Bob Kerman, it's not exactly working. So I'm going to go to the Space Center and do it that way, because it's probably a lot easier. There we go, switch to Ares 1, which is what I named the vessel, because I'm going on a naming scheme of like Greek gods at the moment. So Horizon, because Horizon's just a normal space name, and I've had Poseidon for something, I've got Ares now, and now we've rotated the ship, we are going to climb back in, or attempt to climb back in, that is. And yes, there we go, it's not flung us straight off. So we transfer the crew out, and now they're both in. But what we need to do is get the pilot back into the proper place. Now at that point where it went all fuzzy, I thought I'd lost control of the ship, but thank God I haven't, because that could have been terrible. But yeah, there we go. Now I'm checking my rendezvous menu here. I don't exactly know anything to do with that. It says the rendezvous incline, interception angle. I don't actually know, so I'm just closing that down. I thought that might be helpful. But now I've seen that the closest approach is miles away. Like, I don't know what happened, but the closest approach went from being really close to being 100 kilometers away. And that is not a good thing at all. I'm trying to change this maneuver node a bit to get down. And I thought, yeah, that's probably fine. I'll do that maneuver node. But then I was like, no, it's probably not going to work. So I'll just, you know, he's 87 kilometers away. I'll just EVA towards him. Because why would that not work properly? And the mouse is covering it, but I'm trying to get it down, but it just keeps going up, and that's because Ares 1, my ship that I'm flying towards, is now speeding back up because it's now going towards Kerbin. It's like coming in for its closest approach on the orbit towards Kerbin. So I've gone, okay, shit. Maybe I should go back towards Horizon 2 and my spaceship that he came from, because I don't want him to be in space randomly. I want him to actually be in a spaceship, because I feel like he can't die, but I feel like he might die if he wasn't in a spaceship. I don't know, I'm trying to put a bit of realism on it, but I think he will be just fine, because I haven't got any like food or oxygen mods on, so I think he can stay in space for infinite amount of time. But I didn't want him to, you know, do that, so I've brought him back to Horizon 2, and it's a bit fiddly with these controls. I barely use RCS or like an EVA walk in space, or even on a planet that much, but yeah. So you can see that the orbit of this is now quite close. It's going towards the Periaps? No, Apoaps, I think it is. Yep, it's going towards the Apoaps, which is the closest one. No, it's further away actually. Either way, there was no way I'd be able to make it with that orbit with Ares 1, so I've decided to change it so I can set a maneuver node over here, and I can have a closest approach, which is pretty much like right on. I'm going to change the orbit so it makes it pretty much identical to the other one. It overlaps at some points, and there you can see there's an intersect there, which I'm trying to get like properly on, but it just needs to be there or thereabouts. And then I can do the maneuver node, and I can change my orbit a little bit when I'm closer and after I've done the maneuver. Just speeding up time. I get really nervous when I speed up time, because sometimes I overshoot drastically, and then it's like, oh, the maneuver node's ruined and I can't do it now. And I really want this mission to succeed, because it's the first time I've ever tried a rescue mission, and I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it. But we're just doing the maneuver burn to get towards the same orbit as the other one. And I went a bit off course there, so I've stopped the engines and I'm just slowly getting towards the orbit I want. And there you go. And it's actually pretty close intersect there 24 kilometers, I believe that said. So just warp to it, and I think I'll change the orbit. 24 kilometers, yeah. Or maybe I am just going to launch myself towards it again. I think I am just going to launch myself towards it. So I'm going to warp closer, and then send Duncan, is his name? No, it's not Duncan. I can't remember what his name is right now. But I'm going to send the astronaut. Oh, Dustin, whatever his guy's name is. I'm going to send him on EVA, 24 kilometers through space. Probably the longest EVA I've ever done. No, it is the longest I've ever done, because it is pretty much the first. It is the second I've ever done. But it's going to be the longest. It's going to set a record of 24 or 25.4 kilometers EVA, which is probably a ridiculous amount. I don't think, like, in real astronauts they go that far. No, they wouldn't, because that's just asking to die in space. But yeah, this is Kerbal Space Program, and it's not exactly that realistic, but oh well, I'm glad it's not, because I can do this. It does take quite a while. I do start warping speed up, but it gets all like off center, and I'm just going towards it at different angles. I'm fearing for my life that it's now speeding back up and going towards Kerbal, and it's going to start going away from me. So I'm trying to get my speed. You can see at the bottom above the nav board, my target to the speed is like 75 meters per second. I'm trying to get that as high as possible, and I believe I go up to 100 meters per second, which isn't the best thing at the moment. I'm pressing all kinds of buttons. That's why the inventory keeps coming up. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm just really scared, because it looks like it's going further away from me there. So I'm hoping it's not speeding up and getting away from me, but I believe it's not. Either way, my target speed is down now. I think is it up? Oh no, it's at 40 meters per second, so I'm getting closer. I've slowed it on down, and keep time warping just little bits so I get closer and closer and closer. See, I'm now 1.8 kilometers away, 1.7. There we go, we're into the hundreds now, we're into the meters, not kilometers. And there it is, it's right close. Oh, and I've overshot it by an absolute mile. Well, not quite a mile, but near on half a kilometer, I think it is. Yep, and I'm finally getting towards it. Now, I'm going towards this target at 3 meters per second, because I don't want to go any further, because when I shot past it, I was getting like 400, and I'm running out of EVA propellant, as you can see in the top corner. I've only got 1.19 left, and I don't want to run out before I get him back into this spaceship. Now, I'm fearing for my life that it's going to fling me off and away from the ship, so it makes me use up more of my EVA propellant. But I've gone here, and oh, yep, it flung me off again, which is nice. I've decided to attempt to go into the hitchhiker's cab, but I think it might just be it might just be the hitchhiker's cab that is not letting me in. But for some reason, I pressed a few buttons, and oh my god, I've actually now got Dustin back into the spaceship, and now I am checking something here. I think I was checking the science data, if he's brought it or not, or if even there was science data on this vessel. I'm not too sure. The other two's had them though, so I did get some science points. And here he is, back in safety, and he's seen other Kerbins for the first time in weeks, or maybe months with Horizon 2, to be fair. Now, I was checking to see if I could get Horizon 4 on this fuel, but I decided that is probably a ridiculous idea, and I'm just going to go back into Kerbin and land and get this one person back safe, because it's better to only get one at a time than fail at getting more than one. And I don't exactly want to fail at getting more than one, because I don't want to have my only pilot, and the only pilot I can actually hire at the moment, or I can't hire any other pilots, so my only pilot that I could possibly get, which is Valentina, I don't want her to get lost in space like the other two, because Bob's a scientist, but Dustin is a pilot as well, and it's very hard to fly stuff if you don't have a pilot, because you don't get SAS, or at least I can't make it so I have SAS at the moment, and I believe I overshot that, so I'm needing to speed back up so I don't crash straight into the planet. Yeah, the periapse height is in minus numbers, which is not a good thing. So we need to speed back up to get it to a reasonable height. Which it's 40,000 meters. I like to put it in 40,000 meters so I aerobrake back into Kerbal. We've ditched the other main body because it ran out of fuel, and we've got this bit here, which I'm gonna make sure it's lined up so I can kill some more speed with the engine I've got, because I had way too much fuel, as you can quite clearly tell. But I'm going to use it to kill off some of that apparatus height and get down into Kerbal a lot faster. Don't know why I burned then, because I'm going to burn near the periapse, but it does start getting hotter. You can see some of the things, and there we go. There's the fire. So we are entering the atmosphere right now, and I'm trying to, for some reason, do that, but it's fine. Now, at this moment, I have realised that I have not put on a heat shield. So I've slightly cheated. I've turned on max temperature, so that's why everything is intact. It would have made it back, because it always makes it back. Entering aerobraking to Kerbal is actually a really easy and simple thing to do. But I had to turn on max temperature because it would have exploded, and I'm not having all three of them die, because it's just not happening. I forgot to add the heat shield, but oh well. And at this moment my ship decides it's more aerodynamically stable if it's facing forward, which is rather annoying if I'm going to be honest. But there we go, we've got through the atmosphere. I'm just waiting for the parachute to be able to deploy. You see two of them are, oh, there we go, all of them are good. We extend the landing struts because they're actually attached this time. I don't think they would have been if I didn't put max temperature, ignore max temperature on. But there we go, we are safely back. Well, we should be safely back. Of course, it's post-commentary, so I know we are safely back home. Everything's still intact, which it shouldn't be. The solar panels and the landing struts I don't think would be there if I didn't click the ignore max temperature button. But there we go, we are back. I check if there's a crew report we can do, but we're in the Highlands, we've been here before, so we're not able to. And we go straight back to the centre to recover the vessel. So yeah, we have recovered, and if you liked that episode, make sure you click the like button, comment and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.